We're going to be installing the Alarm Lock 3200 series in IC Core format. This is the Trilogy T3 Audit Trail digital lock. This is also the replacement for the DL2800. So there's currently a DL2800 on the door right now that I am taking off. This one will not take any programming. We tried all kinds of different things to program it, and it will not accept any of the programming. So it's got to go, and we're going to get the new one and put the new one on there. Now this one is going to come right-handed, as you can see. This one needs to be rehanded to put in the left-hand position, as I'm showing right here. Now there's a detent hole in the lever itself on the internal portion, or on the inside lever, but on the external portion there's not a detent hole. Therefore you have to access the detent that releases the lever off of the lock body so that you can rotate the chassis 180 degrees so you can rehand the lock in the field. This lock is field handable, but it might throw you off because you don't see that detent right away. So see, there's nothing there, but it can be done. You just have to know the trick to do so. And then you take your detent and push it in yet again so that the chassis will come out of the housing, and then you rotate it, flip it over 180 degrees, and you have now successfully rehanded the Alarm Lock 3200 series IC Core version of this particular lock. Then to put the handle on, you do the same thing in reverse, just push that little detent back, and now we're going to start installing it on the door by putting on the latch first. Here is installing the latch. We're going to take the two wires that go to the motor, and we're going to disconnect those so that we can put all the wires through there. Now, this is not exactly the best prep for this particular door. I'm showing that here. You can see somebody didn't really know what they were doing when they tried to install this. That's absolutely very, very poor drilling and installation, unfortunately. We actually have a jig that would drill this perfectly, but unless you're going to get a new door, probably not going to be able to fix that. So can't clean up somebody else's mess, unfortunately, on this one. Just stick the wires through that plate. Then you've got the two screws that mount that plate. I actually kind of messed up here, and usually I'll leave those loose. I'll have to come back and loosen them up later. This is the other little plate that goes on the inside with the other two screws down below. Those get mounted. See, now I'm loosening those up so that we can get the side screws in. If you don't loosen that plate up, it's very difficult to get those screws on the side in there. So that's one little tip and one little trick. And then they are really using that white lithium grease very heavily. Here is the silicone lubricant that goes in that connector. You can see I'm connecting the battery connector there. And then as soon as you connect the battery connector, you push and hold the AL button so that it clears out all of the programming in the lock itself. And then you can stuff all that wiring and the battery pack into the back of the lock. And because that grease is following me everywhere, I'm continually trying to keep that wiped down so that it doesn't get on the customer's hands when I go have them try everything out. The key thing to this is moving that wiring over and making sure that the battery pack fits. Here's what that detent looks like from the inside of that interchangeable core hole. Now we try the lock out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is going to be your factory default code. Green light, latch retracts. This is a successful open. There you go. That is the Alarm Lock 3200 series IC Core or interchangeable core. Here is the core itself. It will come with its own tailpiece. So you just get the control key, put the control key in the control key position, and insert it into the lock, and there is your